If Jey beats Oba, just cancel the entire show. That's from It's OTW, and these are your SmackDown hot takes, where I take your thoughts, your opinions, your hot takes from the previous episode of SmackDown, and, well, we discuss. And we're going to talk about the possibility of King Jey, him beating Oba Femi, and should it have been Javon Evans that won last night? Make sure you comment below what you think, because you get a chance to win this belt on my shoulder. You see, I'm trying to quit my day job, so I'm going to bribe you to subscribe to the channel and comment on the videos to up that engagement. I promise you it's free, and if you win the belt, I'll ship it to you for free. All you got to do to win, like I said, is comment below, subscribe to the channel, and at 30,000 subscribers, I'm going to give it away. You get to pick whatever belt you want. It is not a toy. It's a replica. All right, so let's do some more hot takes. Let's just do some rapid fire opinions, because boy howdy, do y'all have some opinions, and they're vastly different. Carmichael says Jey Uso should win the entire tournament and defeat Gunther for the WWE title. Give Jey everything. It's Jey Mania, baby. I am not sure if you are trolling or not, but the internet would melt if that happened. Mr. Pete says, Chop, are you ready to see Jey pin and yeet all over Oba at Night of Champions? LOL, because of Brock Lesnar, of course. Yeah, that seems to be the general consensus that, well, Brock is now going to interfere in Saudi Arabia and cost Oba Femi the match. Oba Femi has been calling him out, and now here we got Jey Uso. Jey Uso up to the plate, and ooh, yeah, man, it seems so obvious. In fact, Brock Lesnar interfering is so obvious that Oba Femi himself said last week when he beat Dominic Mysterio, Brock, I thought you were going to show up tonight. And they are in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has a lot of money, and they really like these big appearances. Or what about the possibility? What about the possibility that Oba Femi actually does win King of the Ring, and Brock is his first challenger? I do know, though, that until Brock shows up, his shadow is going to be looming over every single Oba Femi match. I'll just be happy when Brock finally does it, so we can just have that out of the way, and then Oba can just move on with his life. And to fully answer your question, no, I'm not ready for Jey Uso to beat Oba Femi. I like Jey Uso. I'm not a Jey Uso hater, but I do not think that he should be beating Oba Femi. Carl's Engelang says, can't wait for the ruler to ground pound the Yeet Man, because surely Brock wouldn't interfere in the King of the Ring match and make Jey effing Uso win. I love how you wrote that. Oh, here we go. Jey, this is from Wildfire Sage, says, Jey winning King of the Ring is actually good booking if Gunther wins the championship in the triple threat. Giving Gunther a chance to defeat Jey at SummerSlam could reclaim some of that aura. I understand that perspective, but honestly, I just hope they don't. I don't want to see Gunther and Jey 7. I just don't want to see that. And don't forget, though, Gunther actually has beaten Jey Uso. He's the one that took the belt off of Jey about 3 months after his title reign began. So technically, he did get his win back. It's just not on a big stage like SummerSlam. Kicking it with Leo says, hot take, Javon should have won over Jey Uso. This would have allowed WWE to run back that legendary feud between Oba and Javon. And I'll be honest with you, if we're going to let Oba win, then I really believe it should have been Oba versus Javon Evans. And that's because those two had good chemistry in NXT, and we could have actually seen Oba do more than 4 moves. I'm a huge supporter of Oba Femi, but people mishear me when I say, man, I want Oba Femi to do more moves. They hear me saying, I think Oba Femi should go on a losing streak and never touch the title. Why do you hate Oba Femi? And I'm like, no, I didn't say that, guys. I said, I want Oba Femi to actually wrestle like he did in NXT. And I don't understand why he's just a squash machine. I don't get it at all. Oh, well, he beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, so he has to be a squash machine. No, he doesn't. He just straight up doesn't need to be a squash machine. He can actually wrestle, and I would like for him to actually wrestle. Call me crazy. And his matches with Javon were great. I think Javon would come out looking like $1,000,000 if he was the first guy to take Obafemi to like a 10 to 12 minute match. Could you imagine how shocked people would be if Javon did that? It would almost be like when Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles took Brock Lesnar to a really long match at those Survivor Series. They missed a huge opportunity to elevate Javon, even in a loss to Obafemi, and showcase what Oba could really do. Damon Jones says, at this point, if you ain't Samoan, you ain't getting nowhere. Where's that guy going? Nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. Well, I mean, to be fair, Samoa Joe, Dakota Kai, Lance Anoa'i, Tonga Loa, I mean, I guess he's from the island of Tongan, right? But there's been other Samoans who have been released and not pushed all the way to the moon. But I do understand your point. I will do one more before we move on to the rest of SmackDown. And this is from Tiz Mickey. I'm okay with Jey winning if creative gives him a storyline. Yes, you know what? I'll be okay with anybody winning if they have a storyline waiting for them. One of the downfalls of Cody Rhodes' title reign is he didn't really have a storyline immediately following his giant victory over Roman Reigns. I mean, even Jey Uso's last title reign, his first title reign, when he beat Gunther, there was no story for him after, and that's why his title reign sucked as well. Last year, Io Sky, Jade Cargill, they won the title, no storyline after. Their title reign sucked. Currently, Liv Morgan, she wins the title. No storyline after. Her title reign sucked. And you can tell me all day long, oh, well, she was supposed to fight Stephanie Vakir, but she got injured. Doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm like, yeah, Stephanie Vakir, she matters. I don't want anybody to ever be injured. But what I'm saying here is that when a wrestler gets injured, and the storylines have to change and pivot, well, then you write something new. If after WrestleMania 14 happened and Stone Cold Steve Austin, he wins the belt, he goes into a program with Mankind and Dude Love, it's like if Mick Foley had been injured, well, Stone Cold, they wouldn't have just wrote Stone Cold not defending his belt for 3 months. No, they would have came up with another challenger. And so Liv Morgan not having storylines and stuff makes her title reign suck. And so Jey Uso, if he wins, he needs to have a storyline. But, I mean, honestly, same for Obafemi. If they let Obafemi win King of the Ring and then Roman Reigns, he beats Roman, and he has the title, he needs an instant storyline. And here's the crazy thing. Let's pretend it is Brock Lesnar immediately after Roman Reigns. Okay, well then he needs a storyline after that. Like, these champions need consistent storylines. When one opponent is done, then we do another one. This is a sport that is 52 weeks a year. And it's just how it is. So I will honestly be okay if Jey Uso wins and they have a compelling storyline for him after. But if they let Jey beat Obafemi and they have nothing for him after he beats Obafemi, even if it's I win the title and then there's nothing for him, then that will be a travesty. That will be an absolute travesty to job out Obafemi so Jey could win a title and not have anything for him afterwards. Okay, Tiz Mickey, looks like you hit something there. I'm okay, she says. I'm okay with Sammy wins because I believe him and Jey would have a fire storyline going for SummerSlam. That's assuming Sammy wins, and I actually do hope that Sammy wins. Somebody said yesterday on the one take one shot comments that it would be hilarious if Sammy won, and then he kind of went up to Roman as like an equal, and I think that would be great. Sammy going, hey, look, the bloodline, all champions, because you know Roman would love to have both championships in the bloodline, but he doesn't want it on Sammy, even though Sammy's considered bloodline kind of, sort of. He'd want it to be on Jey or anybody else. So it would be really funny watching Roman kind of being like, yeah, we got all the belts, but not really comfortable with Sami. I think that would be really funny. But yeah, Jey versus Sami would be a great feud. But the problem is, who would be the good guy in that one? Because Sami cannot turn back to being a good guy. He cannot. He's doing too good of stuff as a bad guy right now. I mean, the last good guy, that is. I Love AEW Wrestling says, I feel so bad for Gunther because he went from the legend killer on Raw to now jobbing out to Cody multiple times. I actually don't necessarily mind him losing because, it's wrestling. People have to win, people have to lose. But what I don't like is what they've done to Gunther's character. He hasn't, really fully changed, but I don't know. Gunther was one of those rare heels that could just straight up talk smack and then back it up. Even during the time where Gunther was just reigning supreme as champion, so was Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns cheated all the time. Gunther didn't really cheat as much as Roman did. I kind of wanted that Gunther, but no, we got the Gunther that is making fun of Americans now, who, in interviews, Gunther has said that's not the type of heel he wants to play. And then we have Gunther hiding behind lawyers and just kind of doing these backhanded deals with Paul Heyman. Who's this Gunther? That's what I have a problem with. Not so much Gunther losing, because they are kind of sort of protecting him in his losses, but it's who's this Gunther that is scheming like Paul Heyman? TTJC says, if Liv had lost to Charlotte after the attack on her knee, that would have been a worse title burial than the AAA Mega Championship on Monday. I agree with you. I'm very happy that they let Liv win, all considering, because Charlotte Flair, she got her knee attacked by Jade Cargill before the match, and then it was just It definitely had Charlotte the underdog babyface, and then she just lost, and it was the right call for her to lose. Honestly, though, I really think that she should have probably even lost quicker. I'm not saying squash her, even though she was injured, but I feel the Women's World Champion, whether you like Liv Morgan or not, I feel like the Women's World Champion, focus on those words, the Women's World Champion shouldn't have that much of trouble defeating somebody when they're that injured, even if it is Charlotte Flair. If that was a 12-minute match, then I would have said make it an 8-minute match. Just shave off 4 to 6 minutes of whatever it was and just have Liv, the World Champion, be a little more dominant because they got what they needed out of Charlotte being the underdog babyface with all the heart. As I say that, Bishop Marley says, great storylines throughout the show. Charlotte never looked more like a valiant babyface in her whole career. I will say that they have done a great job redeeming Charlotte's image. No way, no how did I think they would ever be able to make Charlotte a babyface. Not you, Chiha says, I probably butchered that name, I apologize. As much as I love Jey Uso, I feel as if creative has been making him take main event spots from people who are more young and deserving. I'm not a Jey Uso hater, but I'm getting Jey Uso fatigue. But what do you think, WrestleChop? I think that's fair. I think that's honestly fair. Jey Uso, he had a turn. Now, I'm not saying people don't deserve a second chance, but when other people who have never had a first chance are getting kind of passed up, well, it does kind of leave a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth. As much as people don't like Sami Zayn, the dude's never been champion. This is kind of a fresh matchup with Cody, Gunther, Sami. Wouldn't it have been nicer if it was LA Knight versus Obafemi, or Javon Evans versus Obafemi at King of the Ring? Does Jey Uso really need it? Already in the biggest storyline going on in the WWE, he just straight up doesn't need it. So I don't hate that it's Jey Uso like a lot of the internet, but I do feel you when you say you want to see others in that top spot. And for the record, Jey Uso himself said that when he made it to the top of the mountain, that he did not do everything in his power to stay there. Errol Noir says, even though she wasn't there, I'm so happy to see Julia getting some love, called out by Blake Monroe, and then had a pre-recorded promo. So far, Blake only calls out main eventers. I am really hoping that this is the start of the official Julia push, because even though she's a two-time U.S. champion, those title reigns didn't really do much for her. We shall see next week, though. If she loses to Kiana James, she will be pretty much enhancement talent. Martise Detroit says, hey, Chop, I hope the MFTs are finally over. Me too. Even if it's just Tamatonga and Tungaloa going on, Tamatonga and Talatonga going on their own, that fine, whatever. At this point, I don't even really want him in the bloodline. I'd rather him just literally be an island unto himself. Jimbo Slice says, I really think Gunther should have won tonight, and they should have booked a triple threat for Night of Champions anyway. A shock title change on TV would have been huge and harmless. Or we could have even done this, which would have probably made a lot of people mad, but I think it would have been sweet. Have Gunther win the first match, right? But, because Sami Zayn did a fast count. And then you have the rest of the night where we set up another match in the main event. Nick Aldis is like, no, we're not doing that. And so then we have another match where Cody wins back the title. Maybe even the ref gets knocked out and Sami comes in with his referee shirt and he does another fast count. That would have been cool. That Lemur says, welp, we have Javon now in the Vision Vortex. At least we'll get to see him versus Braun Breaker. That should be a banger. I don't think he'll fight Braun Breaker. I think the real match there is him versus Logan Paul. And you're like, oh, but no way WWE would prolong a storyline just to get Logan Paul versus Javon Evans. Well, because Logan Paul's injured, right? They wouldn't wait that long. Yeah, they would. That's what they're doing with Liv Morgan and Stephanie McMahon right now. So, yeah. Javon Evans is about to be trapped within the Vision Vortex. Teddy Boy Ward says, when they jumped Charlotte and went after her hurt leg, I thought right away of her dad and the Horseman busting up Cody's dad's leg. So you're talking old school when the Horseman beat up Dusty Rhodes, baby. And, the sins of the father, they fall on the kids sometimes. Tracy Woods says, Chop, how do I find your email? I have stuff to mail you. Tracy Woods was there, and I'll open it on the channel. But Tracy Woods, I will put a comment with my email, but it's basically wrestlechop@outlook.com. And Tracy Woods also says, I named this episode the SmackDown Without Sidekicks. LA Knight wasn't there. That sucks that people think that LA Knight's a sidekick. Jimmy wasn't there. The Tungans told Solo not to come out. Alexa Bliss was there, but not really in any capacity to help Charlotte. There wasn't interference all night long. Yeah, the Night Without Sidekicks. That sucks, though, that you consider LA Knight a sidekick at this point. And I don't blame you because, what has he really been doing? Oh, poor LA Knight. But, yeah, no sidekicks. El Fanatico says, awful weekly garbage with zero effort. Can't understand why anyone still wants to pay pay-per-view prices for utter garbage. WWE shows are soulless. Talent is amazing, but creatively is a dead show. Raw and SmackDown. So, what did you think about this episode? Because I actually liked this episode. But you know what? It's all subjective. Matt is Haunted says, Sami's fast count has to be a world record. I'm so pleased that he's in the match at Night of Champions. I'm a Cody crybaby through and through, but I'm rooting for Sami this match. Ride or die, baby. Looks like Sami Zayn is starting to win people over. This heel Sami, this Sami who's the last good guy, he just gets it. When he's a heel, he just gets it. Driven by Coffee. I love that name. I'm driven by Red Bull, but I do like myself some coffee. Driven by Coffee says, I spend my weeks waiting for Randy Orton to kick butt. What happened to Randy Orton? It is so ridiculous that he ended night one punt kicking Cody, holding the title up, and then we haven't seen from him since. They don't even tell us on commentary what happened. I feel for the diehard Randy Orton fans like yourself. And the Wrestle Don says, is there a legit storyline reason as to why LA Knight didn't cost Jey Uso the match? No, there is not. To be honest with you, LA Knight literally got cheated out of winning last week from Solo Sikoa. And then on Monday Night Raw, Jey Uso got in his face, and Jimmy, Jay, and Jacob Fatu beat him up. And this week, he doesn't do nothing about it. At the very least, we should have had LA Knight try to interfere. I mean, Jacob Fatu was already there. Jacob could have attacked LA Knight before LA Knight got out or something. I don't know. We could have done something, but the fact that LA Knight wouldn't do nothing? Nothing. He wouldn't get his comeuppance on Jey Uso? Like, give me a break. That makes LA Knight just, I don't know. It definitely doesn't help LA Knight's character, I'll say that. And at this point, he needs all the help he can get because his booking sucks so bad. All right, boys. All right, girls. Those are your hot takes. Tomorrow, predictions. See you, bye.